There were a number of women artists who were abstract expressionist artists. You may have heard of Walter de Kooning. You may not have heard of Elaine de Kooning, who was his wife, and there was the problem of being in the shadow of the man, even though you were producing artwork. But Grace Hartigan, Joan Mitchell, and Helen Frankenthaler. I'm going to talk just very briefly about Helen Frankenthaler. She is an American artist. She's the daughter of a New York Supreme Court justice. And she went to Bennington College in Vermont. She was another one of the pupils of Hans Hofmann. She was a friend to Clement Greenberg, which can't hurt. He is the critic who pretty much said, you know, these are the people we should notice in art. And she married Robert Motherwell, a very famous abstract painter. She saw Pollock's work in a 1950 exhibition. In 1950, she saw an exhibition by Jackson Pollock. She became an abstract expressionist artist, which means about what it sounds like, works that are completely abstract. They have no subject matter from the visible world, although as you can see, she often does give them titles that might refer to the world. And they are created as presumably as an expression of the artist. You very freely put the paint down on the canvas. Well, one of the things, of course, that we talk about is when an artist, you know, is going to be known, recognized as great, perhaps, they need to have done something original. You know, if you just copy the Mona Lisa and you do it beautifully, nobody's going to say you're a great artist. They're going to say, yeah, you're a nice technician. But that's not art. You have to have ideas for art. One of her claims to fame is that she created a new way of applying the paint to the canvas, so a technical matter here, which is called stained canvases. She took oil paint and she diluted it with turpentine and then would apply it directly to the raw canvas. Traditionally, you would have your canvas, you would have some kind of gesso or other surface that meant your paint wouldn't soak into the canvas, and then you would start working and painting on that. She's doing away with that underlayer that seals the canvas. Instead of sealing the canvas, she allows her oil paint directly on the texture of the canvas to create the work of art. And this is a new technique. Historically, it serves as a transition from abstract expressionism to a new art movement, a new type of art called color field painting. So she essentially has a foot in both. This is one of her works called Mountains and Sea, and yes, you can imagine mountains and sea in it, but it actually doesn't reproduce anything from the natural world. Sometimes I think they try to have a little fun with this when they give it natural titles. Here you can see sort of the effect of stained canvases. It's sort of like watercolor in oil. I mean, that whole effect of having thin washes that soak into the canvas, and then you can put more and more layers, and so you can have denser areas and transparent areas. This is my favorite Frankenthaler. It's one that I have seen in Detroit, and I liked it because of the variations of the blue colors. Unfortunately, it's very hard to reproduce the colors. So I've got two pictures, and this is probably the better one. It's a stained canvas, and you can see it does look like a body of water. But sometimes the colors come out really strange. This is the picture that I took. I leave it in here simply because it gives you more of the varieties of blue, but the color is just totally off on mine. So you're seeing a whole. Sometimes the blue is deeper, sometimes it's lighter, sometimes it's almost transparent. And there, my detail here, you know, it's the blue green is it's almost feels like light is shining through it, but it isn't. Later work, Other Generations, Small's Paradise.